Welcome to Book Birdees!
Welcome!
And I want to warmly welcome you to the fall season, which brings
Halloween!
So I'm so excited. What are you going to be for Halloween?
I'm going to be a creepy bird. A witch bird.
So can I spray paint your feathers and stuff black so that it can, like, go with the costume?
No, you can't.
And then also this right here. Maybe,
no, you can't.
Can we cut this off?
No, you can't.
It doesn't come off?
No, it doesn't. It's part of my head.
What is it?
I was born that way. I don't know.
So you don't... Okay, well, anyways, so I'm not really sure what I'm going to be for Halloween, but...
A witch, maybe?
I don't want to be a witch. I want to
Be a perfect witch.
No, I don't want to be a witch. But anyways, never mind what we're going to be. It'd be much more exciting for, us to know what our friends are going to be. Don't you think?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So anyways, we have a treat for you. You want
Halloween special.
Yeah, Halloween special. So that means we just have this one and only introduction. So this is it. And then the rest is going to be just stories. So for those of you who want to skip over the introductions and to just, get straight into the books, this is a treat for you. If not, I'm sorry, but it's just better this way, right? It's better this way. Why?
Just for this. Just for this.
You just what you know what? Pesky Pascal loves to be in front of the camera, so I don't know. I think that's what it is, isn't it?
It's fun.
It is fun, but sometimes things happen, like we get sick, like probably everybody else. And,
oh yeah.
And things
Very
happen,
annoying.
so we can't always be there, but we sure try. But anyways, before this gets any longer, I handpicked a few of the Halloween stories. There's also a bonus 3 that I am working on. But in the meantime, enjoy the 10 that we have. I hope you enjoy it as much as we did making it. And I hope you guys have a wonderful, fantastic Halloween!
And a safe trick-or-treat.
Safe trick-or-treat. Remember, do not, eat candy that looks like it's been, tampered with, or like the wrapper is open or anything like that.
Wait till you get home.
Wait till you get home.
And let your parents inspect it
That's
before
right.
you eat it.
That's right. And sanitize. Hand sanitize,
Yeah.
because everyone's touching that bowl. But anyways, we're getting into something else now. So we're going to let you go and enjoy the stories. And without further ado, again, happy Halloween.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Happy Halloween! Book Birdees presents a Halloween special full of spooktacular collections of Halloween stories read to you by Berlin. At the Old Haunted House by Helen Kettner, illustrated by Nate Ragg. At the old haunted house, in a room with no sun, lived a warty green witch and her wee witchy one. "Spell!" cried the witch. "Poof!" cried the one, and they both practiced spells in the room with no sun. At the old haunted house, where a cold draft blew, lived a big mom monster and her wee monsters too. "Stir!" called the mom. "We stir!" cried the two, and they whirred and they stirred while the cold draft blew. By the old haunted house, in the dead hollow tree, lived a scrawny black cat and her wee kittens 3. "Scratch!" cried the mother. "Meow!" cried the 3, and they scratched and they growled in that dead hollow tree. At the old haunted house, with the squeaky old floor, lived a green paw goblin and his wee goblins 4. "Durst!" called the paw. "We dust!" said the 4, and they spread lots of dust on that squeaky old floor. At the old haunted house, where scary things jive, lived a ma werewolf and her wee wolfies 5. "Hello!" cried the ma. Wailed the 5, and they yelled and they howled where scary things jive. In the old haunted house, in a vault made of bricks, lived a papa vampire and his little vamp 6. "Show fangs!" Papa cried. "Hish!" went the 6, and they snarled and they shrieked in the vault made of bricks. At the old haunted house, teaching a lesson was a hairy mom bat and her bitty bat 7. "Dip dive!" cried the mom. "Flip flap!" went the 7, and they dipped and they dove in their dip diving lesson. By the old haunted house, near the graveyard gates, lived a spooky dad ghost and his wee ghosties 8. "Haunt!" cried the dad. "Boo!" cried the 8, and they booed and they floated through the graveyard gates. At the old haunted house, half covered with vines, lived a mummy mommy and her wee mummies 9. "Mix!" called the mommy. "Wee mix!" called the 9, and they stirred and they mixed in the house with the vines. At the old haunted house, in the dusty old den, lived a fat ma spider and her wee spiders 10. "Spring!" called the ma. "Weave ho!" said the 10, and they spun sticky webs in the dusty old den. At the old haunted house, the front door creaked. "Trick or treat! Trick or treat!" yelled the children. The ghost shrieked. "Ooh!" "Come in!" called Mom Mummy. "The monsters made stew, the mummies made cake, the witches zapped brew." The creatures all grinned as they struck up the band, and the spiders all swung on sticky web strands. The ghosties floated as the music played, black cats scratched and werewolves bayed. The vampire band played music all night, and they all had fun at the Halloween fright. The end. Happy Halloween.
Hardly Haunted by Jessie Sima.
There was a house on a hill, and that house was worried. "I'm a house," thought the house. "People are supposed to live in me, but no one did." Which was pretty suspicious. "I think," thought the house, "I might be haunted." The house did not want to be haunted. Who would want to live in a haunted house? "If I'm on my very best behavior," she thought, "maybe no one will notice how spooky I am." There's no hiding that I'm dusty and full of cobwebs. But if I hold still, maybe my doors won't creak. And And if I keep quiet, maybe my stairs won't squeak. And if I stay calm, maybe my pipes won't rattle, rattle, rattle. This isn't working, she thought. I'll have to try harder. The house held her breath. She kept very still and very quiet and very calm. I think I'm doing it, the house thought. And she almost was. But then the wind came. It started with a scratch, scratch, scratch. And a flicker of lights. Her foundation began to and a gust through her roof let out a into the night. Whoa, thought the house. That was fun. Once the wind had gone, the night was quiet, still, and calm. But the house did not have to be. She liked being noisy. Maybe she liked being haunted. But that didn't keep the house from feeling lonely. I'll just have to find people who like that I'm spooky, she thought. A family who will help this haunted house become a haunted home. That's when she saw them coming up the hill. They came inside. They made themselves at home. And that house on that hill was happy to be haunted. Creak, squeak, rattle, rattle. The end. Happy Halloween.
Mother Ghost by Rachel Kohler, illustrated by Roland Garrick.
Boys and girls come trick or treat. The moon is bright, the candy's sweet. Leave your houses and leave your light, and join the goblin folk in the night. Come with a whoop and come with a call. Come with a brave hearts or not at all. Up the walkway and to the door. Hold out your sack with a monster roar. Howl and cackle and shout and cheer, because Halloween is finally here. The man in the moon looked out of the sky, and then we heard him say, I'm wide awake. It's now the time all monsters come to play. Mary had a little ghost. His face was white as cloud, and everywhere that Mary went, he followed in his shroud. He followed her to school one day, so misty, pale, and cool. The children screamed and ran away to see a ghost at school. Hey, diddle diddle, black cat with a fiddle. The ghoul danced a jig in his tomb. The skeleton laughed to see such sport, and the witch flew away on her broom. Zombie Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet, eating her worms and dirt, when along came a spider who sat down beside her, and so she ate him for dessert. What are little bats made of? Made of? What are little bats made of? Wings and night and vampires bite. That's what little bats are made of. What are little ghouls made of? Made of? What are little ghouls made of? Skin and bones and noisy groans. That's what little ghouls are made of. Old Mother Hubbard went to the cupboard to fetch her poor dog a bone. But the skeleton there said,
Hey, don't you dare! Leave all of my pieces alone!
Sing a song of witches, pocket full of sage, 24 blackbirds locked in a cage. When the cage was opened, the birds took to the sky, but before they flew away, they had a trick to try. The witch was in the garden, picking thyme and rue, cackling as she dreamt of tasty blackbird stew. She hobbled to her cauldron and mixed her herbs with care, when down came those blackbirds and pulled out her hair. Mary, Mary, tall and scary, how does your graveyard grow? With buried bones and carved gravestones and little ghosts all in a row. Frankenstein had a marvelous mind, and a marvelous mind had he. He called for some arms, and he called for some eyes, and he called for his thunderbolts 3. His 3 new monsters all came to life when they felt that electricity. There's none so fine as Frankenstein and his marvelous monsters 3. Little boy Drac, come sound the call, the bats in the belfry, the rats in the wall. Where's the boy who looks after those creeps? He's inside his coffin, fast asleep. Will you wake him? No, not I. My garlic breath will make him cry. Twinkle, twinkle, lantern Jack, grinning orange against the black, crouched beneath the window light, like a watchman in the night. Wee Willie Werewolf runs down the street, upstairs and downstairs on his clawed feet, growling at the window, howling to the skies. Are the monsters all in bed? The sun's about to rise. The end. Happy Halloween.
The Halloween Tree. Written by Susan Montanari. Illustrated by Teresa Martinez. The Christmas tree farm bustled with excitement. Carols played as families moved up and down the rows of tall pine trees, exclaiming, "This one is beautiful," or "That one is perfect." Looking at the fancy decorated tree at the front, one sapling grumbled, "I don't like lights. I don't like decorations. And I don't like people." As trees disappeared off the lot, the little tree mumbled, "I don't want to be a Christmas tree. I never want to leave this spot." The little tree listened as the other saplings buzzed with anticipation. "I can't wait," a sprout whispered. "Colored lights," one sighed. "I hope I get a star on my top," said another. The little tree grumbled, "I don't want to become a Christmas tree, and I'm not going to." As the little tree grew, its limbs became gnarled and twisted. Every time needles sprouted, thoughts of being decorated with lights and ornaments made them turn brown and fall off. The tree looked nothing like the others. One day, all the trees on the lot disappeared, all except one. Eventually, houses began to appear, and with houses came families. By then, the tree had grown tall and broad. Its limbs were twisted and covered with strange knobs. One summer, The tree heard children's voices coming near and scoffed,
Ugh, people.
"Yikes!" a boy named Ben cried. "That tree looks grumpy." "I like it," his sister Sarah said as she touched a branch. "It's so creepy, I dare you to climb it," their friend Thomas challenged her. Sarah pulled herself up into the tree and sat on a cozy bough. "It's a pirate ship," she shouted and waved for the others to join her. All the children climbed aboard. When the neighborhood kids needed a hideout, the tree became their fort. When they played astronauts and aliens, it was their spaceship. And one foggy day, the tree even turned into a dragon. When winter came, a cold wind blew, and the children didn't come outside to play. The tree, with its limbs empty, stood all alone. On a snowy afternoon, the tree watched as Sarah and Ben's father carried a large bundle into the house. That night, a Christmas tree appeared in the window.
I don't like lights, I don't like decorations, and I don't like people,
the tree whispered, but it couldn't turn away. Next year, the same thing happened. The kids played in the branches until the snow began to fall, and the tree wished for lights, decorations, and people, things it had never wanted before. One spring, the tree tried to make its needles grow properly, but after years of trying to stop them, they came in looking all wrong. By summer, they had fallen off. A few months later, Sarah and Ben's parents were decorating for Halloween. Their father looked across the yard and said,
That is one horrible tree. We should cut it down.
Their mother agreed.
Not now,
The tree thought.
not now that my limbs are full of happy children.
Up in the branches, Sarah whispered, "No, they can't! We have to save our tree," Thomas cried. "I know what to do," Ben said and whispered his plan to the other kids. They climbed down and raced away to gather supplies. When they came back, Ben was already up in the tree, wedging a huge jack-o'-lantern in a nook. They all climbed up, and from the tree's branches they hung white and orange lights, cobwebs made from string, rubber spiders, cardboard cats, and bats, ghosts, witches, and skeletons. That night, the parents and all the neighbors gathered to admire the tree. The children danced beneath, shouting, "Trick or treat!" to each other.
I guess I was wrong.
The tree thought.
I do like lights, I do like decorations, and I do like people. I love being a Halloween tree.
The end. Happy Halloween. Sammy's Spooktacular Halloween by Mike Petrick.
Halloween was a ghoulish, delightful time of year for the Loomis family. They had the biggest, creepiest, jump-scariest haunted house in the neighborhood. The whole family took part in the spooky celebration. Dad was the Halloween spirit, and Mom and Molly were cackling witches. Luke made the lightning flash, the thunder crash, and the fog roll. And Sammy made sure to give the trick-or-treaters a fantastically fun time. You see, Sammy loved Halloween. The candy, the pumpkins, the scares. He wished Halloween lasted all year long. Every year on the morning after Halloween, the Loomis family celebrated with a mountain of pumpkin pancakes. But this year, Sammy was too busy to wolf down pancakes. He was already cooking up ideas for next year's haunted house.
You're too little to come up with anything creepy or cool,
teased Luke.
Even if you have a whole year,
said Molly.
Well, hold on now, kids,
Sammy's dad said.
We can always use some shocking new scares. Sammy, why don't you give it a whirl?
Yes!
cried Sammy.
I won't let you down!
Sammy got right to work. After a few weeks of planning, he started testing some ideas. Hello? Anyone down there? I can't see a thing, said Mom. Said Sammy.
Maybe a tad too much fog fluid.
Sammy,
Dad howled.
no ghosts at breakfast.
Not everyone liked his freakishly fun improvements to Thanksgiving or Christmas.
Brains and candy!
Sammy, not the candy canes,
Dad said sadly.
Dude, that's my stocking,
cried Luke. Over the winter, Sammy's creations grew more and more scarifying. Every birthday party, sleepover, and family celebration saw the testing of new ideas.
Sammy!
Oh my goodness!
Happy Halloweester!
By Easter, Sammy was on a roll. He was thrilled with his haunted house progress. Fire bad. But when Sammy cooked up a monster storm at the 4th of July barbecue, his family had had enough.
Your ideas are wonderfully creepy, said Dad, but Halloween has taken over everything. Until the rest of the family is ready, no more haunting, no more spooking, and no more Halloween pranks.
Sammy realized he had gone too far.
I've ruined everything, he said. I give up. No more Halloween.
Well, not everything was ruined,
said Luke.
That slumber party skeleton will leave those trick-or-treaters shaking in their boots.
And those tarantulas were a gruesome good time, Molly added. Did you see how fast Luke ran from them?
Looks as if you can use some help,
Luke continued.
Come on, let's get to work.
And they did.
Yipes!
As the last spiderweb was hung, Mom and Dad were spellbound.
They were Sammy's ideas, said Molly.
Yeah, we just helped,
said Luke.
Sammy, said Dad, even though you zombie-chomped the Christmas present and rattled bones at all our parties, we admire how you've stuck with it all year long.
Especially how you worked with Molly and Luke to make it all come together, added Mom.
So we're naming you Halloween Spirit this year.
When Halloween night arrived, Sammy was ready.
Happy Halloween,
he cried.
And welcome to the haunting at Oakwood Farms. Come in, but be aware of what lurks in the dark. Mwahaha!
Every hair-raising scare was more terrifying than the last. When the last of the trick-or-treaters had shuffled off, the family had one last Halloween trick. And this time, it was for Sammy. Gotcha! His family cried.
Ah!
Gotcha!
That was one good jump scare, everyone. And this was the best Halloween ever. But maybe next year, we can use the whole house. Molly, we can start in your room. Who's in?
The end. Happy Halloween. Little Boo Saves the Halloween. Written by Agnes Green. Illustrated by Helen Potyankima. Little Boo is a witch with a tall pointy hat. She carries a broom and she has a black cat. Boo's happy this holiday's finally here. Halloween is her favorite day of the year. There's plenty to get done before it turns night. Candy treats to collect, jack-o'-lanterns to light. So Boo gets her wagon, she puts the cat in, then sets off to pick out the perfect pumpkin. The autumn air's crisp as the leaves on the ground, which crackles all colors from yellow to brown. In windows of houses all down the road hang cobwebs and banners, and spiders and toads. And out of those houses spill onto the streets all manners of monsters, ghouls, ghosties, and beasts. Let's find out which spooky friends Little Boo meets. From house number 1 comes the click-clacking sound of a skeleton's bones as he rattles around. When the skeleton hears what Boo's going to do, he joins in beside her, and then there were 2. From house number 2 comes a spine-tingling woo! This ghost shines so brightly, she's almost see-through. When the ghost hears what Boo and the skeleton are going to do, she says,
"Oh, how lovely! May I join the crew?"
At house number 3 flaps a little fanged bat, which turns into a vampire and frightens the cat.
Wow!
When the vampire hears what Boo, the skeleton, and the ghost are going to do, he follows at speed. Why, he practically flew. From house number 4 creeps a gruesome gargoyle. His skin is all green and quite covered in boils. When the gargoyle hears what Boo, the skeleton, the ghost, and the vampire are going to do, he chuckles and takes up his place in the queue. At house number 5, reams of bandages flow from the mummy who's wrapped from her head to her toes. When the mummy hears what Boo, the skeleton, the ghost, the vampire, and the gargoyle are going to do, she decides she'd quite like to join in with them too.
Oh, man.
From house number 6 comes a rumbling growl. A werewolf steps forward and lets out a howl. When the werewolf hears what Boo, the skeleton, the ghost, the vampire, the gargoyle, and the mummy are going to do, he joins in the gang with a joyful ow. So Boo and the skeleton, the ghost, the vampire, the gargoyle, the mummy, and the werewolf all make their way to the pumpkin patch. But when they get there, there's one teeny catch. There is only one pumpkin left. The friends are downhearted. The ghost moans, "Boo-hoo! Our Halloween's ruined. Now what do we do?" Then Boo has an idea and gets rather excited.
I'll throw a big party and you're all invited.
So the friends take the pumpkin back to Boo's place. They scoop out the seeds, carve the spookiest face. When the lantern is lit with a big glowing grin, it is time for the party games to begin. Bobbing for apples, trick or treat, bags full of licorice, lollies, and sweets.
Which fun!
Party all night through till sunrise at dawn. when all little monsters get sleepy with yawns. Now climb into bed, for this Halloween's done, but we'll see you next year for more spooky fun. The end. Happy Halloween, everyone. How to Build a Haunted House, written by Frank Tupta, illustrated by Kyle Beckett. Ghost Town wakes from daylight snores. The full moon glows. A chainsaw roars. A new family is coming to town. They gotta move in with the sun still down. With no place to go, they're down on their luck. So get your tools and grab your truck. Past the graveyard, hear the howl of werewolf lodgers on the prowl. Bumps and ruts begin to fade. Invisible man clears the grade. Then, over the hill, a handy rig. Frankenstein's here to dig. Earth and gravel fill the lot. Cyclops needed. Hit the spot. The witch's dumper is piled high. A flick of their wand, and it's time to fly. Shadows cast, engines run. They're working hard to beat the sun. The site is cleared. Now let's pour. Bride's concrete lays the floor. Foundation smooth, call the crew. Ready to hammer, nail and screw. Frames up, it's a brand new house. They're almost done, but eek! A mouse! Hammers fall, nails splash. Bones crunch, toes smash. Sirens wail, the monsters clap. Mummy's here, and that's a wrap. But the job's not done. What to do? The sun is climbing into view. Gotta move. Let's get this done. What do you say? Let's have some fun? Lightning strikes, power's on. The house is bright, but it's nearing dawn. Hammers pound, nails sink, windows finished in a blink. So much to do, so little time. Call in a favor, ring the chime. Magic needed to beat the day. Broomstick service on its way. Spell books open, wands raised high. Hocus pocus fills the sky. Smoke settles, monsters stare. It's alive! With time to spare. Dark and safe, the house is spacious. The vampire family is very gracious. Complete with dungeon and trapdoors too. The scariest place with the spookiest view. The monsters grin, filled with pride. The job got done and no one died. Big trucks rumble off the site. And sleepy monsters say good night. The end. Happy Halloween. The Last Train on Halloween. Written by Cindy Jennings. Illustrated by Misha Hovanovic. Naomi threw a scared look at the door behind them. There went that hissing sound again.
Did you hear that?
she whispered to her classmate Drew. He nodded in fear.
We should go investigate,
Kim said. She was the adventurous one in the class, and at 12, she had started rock climbing.
No, silly. It's Halloween, and terrible things happen during Halloween,
Simon said. Everyone called him Scaredy Cat, but tonight, Naomi agreed with him. The entire class had gone on a class trip which had ended in the afternoon. There had been a rush for tickets, and the coachmaster had reluctantly squeezed the 4 children in the next-to-last coach with some luggage.
Don't go near that door, the old man had warned them with a scary look.
The 4 of them were obedient and had no plan of venturing close to the door. However, since their journey began, noises came from the back room, a hissing sound, a cackle that made the hairs on their skin rise, and a grating sound like someone was trying to be free.
What if someone was kidnapped in there? We could be rewarded by the police,
Kim suggested.
No, Kim. The coachmaster warned us,
Naomi said. She just wanted the train to arrive at the station so she could go trick-or-treating. Kim stubbornly moved towards the door, the other children after her. Their hearts raced in fear and excitement as Kim's hand wrapped around the door handle. She pushed it, and the door opened. Into the darkness.
Oh God,
Simon whispered behind Naomi.
Do you see anything?
Drew whispered. Naomi jumped as a light flashed in the room. It was Kim's torchlight. It bounced across different angles of the room. The children looked at each other in surprise. It was completely empty.
This is strange.
An empty room when the coachmaster said the train was filled? Drew asked. Naomi wondered the same. She sighed when Kim went deeper into the room, casting more light across the room. The walls were covered with faded wallpapers, covered with red spots.
Is that?
Ah! The children screamed, jumping into each other's arms as the room was flooded with bright light. The coachmaster glared at them, wearing a mean look.
Didn't I tell you not to come into this room?
The man snapped.
Yes, you did. But we heard a noise,
Kim sputtered.
Nonsense! You heard nothing,
the man said. Kids! Mrs. Gordon, their class teacher, came to their rescue and shooed them to the front of the train, which had just arrived at the station.
Phew!
I am sure glad we are home, Kim said as they stood at the platform, all the kids gathering around.
Look!
Naomi cried, pointing at the train which was going away. Her 3 friends followed her gaze, looking at them from the window. In the dark room was a white face with a cruel smile. The end. Happy Halloween. It's Halloween, Little Monster, by Helen Kettman. Illustrated by Bonnie Leake.
It's here, little monster. Almost time to go out. Hurry, get dressed. There are creatures about. Look at you, little monster, dressed all in green. You're a Martian from space on your first Halloween. All set to go. You see things that are scary? A pirate? A witch? A creature that's hairy? Don't fret, little monster. See there in the street? That's not really a ghost. It's a kid in a sheet. Shine your light, little monster. Let's head down the street. We'll knock on some doors and say, trick or treat. What, little monster? You heard something howl? It's Halloween night, when spooky things prowl. But you shouldn't be nervous. Your papa's here, and together we're brave. There's nothing to fear. See that witch, little monster? She's offering cups of warm, bubbly worm juice. Yum! Drink it up. What's that, little monster? Something scary swooshed by? Oh no! It's a vampire, a big creepy guy. Hold your bag tight and don't make a fuss. Now let's run past him fast. Phew! He didn't get us. You hear a weird noise? You're right. It sounds strange. Oh no! Look at that! Zombies in chains! Quick! Walk like a zombie without a brain stem. They won't bother us if we act just like them. First zombies, now ghosts. No shivers and shakes? Oh, I see why you're brave. Spider cupcakes! There's one final house across from the park. The scariest one yet, all spooky and dark. What's on the porch? Oh, a goblin is perched. He might try to grab us with a quick surprise lurch. The yard's full of graves. This could be tough. Shall we trick or treat here? Will you be brave enough? Come along, little monster. Be strong, just like. It won't be so scary. Follow Papa. You'll see. Ooh! Yikes! Little monster, that gave me a fright. Your Papa got scared this Halloween night. Are you laughing, little monster, because Papa screamed? I'm glad you've had fun on your first Halloween. The end. Happy Halloween.
By the Light of the Halloween Moon by Caroline Stutson, illustrated by Kevin Hawks.
A toe, a lean and gleaming toe that taps a tune in the dead of night by the light, by the silvery light of the Halloween moon. A cat, a thin black wisp of a spying cat, who eyes the toe that taps a tune in the dead of night by the light, by the silvery light of the Halloween moon. A witch, a watchful witch with streaming hair, who snatches the cat when he springs through the air to catch the toe that taps a tune in the dead of night by the light, by the silvery light of the Halloween moon. A bat, a bungling, bouncy, breezy bat, who bumps the witch as she snatches the cat when he springs through the air to catch the toe that taps a tune in the dead of night, by the light, by the light, by the silvery light of the Halloween moon. A ghoul! A ghastly, drooling graveyard ghoul, who swats at the bat, who bumps the witch as she snatches the cat, when he springs through the air to catch the toe that taps a tune in the dead of night, by the light, by the light, by the silvery light of the Halloween moon. A ghost! A will-walk ghost, who trips the ghoul, who swats at the bat, who bumps the witch as she snatches the cat, when he springs through the air to catch the toe that taps a tune in the dead of night, by the light, by the light, by the silvery light of the Halloween moon. A sprite! A grumpy, grungy hobgoblin sprite, who bites the ghost, who trips the ghoul, who swats at the bat, who bumps the witch as she snatches the cat, when he springs through the air to catch the toe that taps a tune in the dead of night, by the light, by the light, by the silvery light of the Halloween moon. A girl! A small, bright slip of a smiling girl, who smacks the sprite, who bites the ghost, who trips the ghoul, who swats at the bat, who bumps the witch as she snatches the cat, when he springs through the air to catch the toe that taps a tune in the dead of night.
Oh, no, you don't. That toe is mine. By the light, by the light, by the silvery light of the Halloween moon.
The end. Happy Halloween.
Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Tap the bell to be notified for new video uploads. Thanks for watching and joining me on my reading adventures. Have a safe and happy Halloween, and see you next time on Book Birdies.